ankle dorsiflexion positional isometrics. So ankle dorsiflexion is flexing the ankle this way, so bringing the toes up close to the ankle. What a positional isometric is used for is, this is, as an example, this is my active range of motion. So if I sort of get up to this position here, and this is my active range, I go forward. This is now the end of my active range. I can't lift the ball of my foot off the floor here. As soon as I come back, I can. That's right at the end of my active range. If I push my knee forward, this is now the end of my passive range. Now, I should only have about a 10 to 15 degree gap there. So if you're doing positional isometrics, it means that you've got a bigger gap than you're supposed to. So we're going to close that gap, and that's what this exercise is for. So really, really simply, all you're going to do is find that active range, push past about 10 or 15 degrees, hold still, and then do a pales and then a rails contraction. So pales is basically gas pedaling into the floor. You're driving the ball of your foot into the floor. And then rails is trying to lift the ball of your foot up. So all this tissue on the front of your foot here, and ankle and shin, trying to lift the foot up. But you're doing this just for 10 seconds at a time at absolute max effort, 100%. So I'm going to take a big breath, pack that air down, get a lot of irradiation, and now I'm driving that ball of my foot into the floor as hard as I possibly can. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm doing the opposite. I'm trying everything on the front here. I'm trying to do everything I can to lift the ball of the foot off. Come on, keep going. 3, 2, 1. Whew. Then have a rest. Then what you're going to do is you're going to push another 10 or 15 degrees past. Stay here, do exactly the same thing. 10 seconds down as hard as you can, 10 seconds up as hard as you can. Obviously there'll be no movement because you're in your passive range. If you've got another bit of movement, go another 10 or 15. So you're doing 1 rep at each 10 to 15 degree increment. So as an example, if you have a 30 degree gap, you'll get to your active range, you'll go about 10 or 15 past, and you'll go about 10 or 15 past, and then you'll be at the end of your passive range. Done. If you've got a 60 degree gap, then you'll obviously do 4 reps. The only thing I'll say here is when you get to the end of your passive range, don't be like, oh, there's the end of my passive range, oh, stretch. No, you're just going to the end. You're not putting a huge amount of stretch into this, because the reason we're doing this is you've got too big a gap between that stretched or passive section and your active section. So we don't want to stretch and force more of that. So get to the active range, go 10 or 15, another 10 or 15. I'm now at the end of my stretch here. I could force more, but that's not the point. I'm just getting to the end, and then that's it. And that is your dorsiflexion positional isometrics. Enjoy.